I'm Aurora. I'm an American living in Russia. I'm from a small town called Tallahassee. It's quite different from living in Moscow. I feel safer here than I did in the US. There's way less homeless people around. I feel comfortable walking around by myself.
A lot of stereotypes about Russia, and this place is a dirty place. Russia is dirty, everything is broken.
It's way cleaner than if you compared it to New York. When you first meet someone, they can be kind of standoffish until they get to know you. I also noticed that people here value family and marriage more. People make less money. We also pay less money for certain items. Right now, and most students have this card that they use in the metro. Maybe it's like 2,000 rubles on it. I usually go on double dates because I feel more comfortable. Here, I don't pay for myself, someone always pays for me. Some may say that that's sexist, but I like it.
Hey everybody, this is Igor in Russia, straight from capital of Russia, Moscow. And today our guest is Aurora. She's an American woman living in Moscow, big, huge city, the Russian evil capital, just kidding. And we're gonna talk to her about her life here in Russia. I'm a foreigner traveling to Russia, going a long way just to be here. So subscribe to the channel if you're new, push likes as a minimum, and of course, become a member. All right, let's get to the video. So Aurora, who are you?
I'm Aurora. I'm an American living in Russia. I moved here about 2 years ago. I'm a student and...
So how long have you been living in Russia, and maybe why also?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you here?
So I moved to Russia in February 2022, a few days before the special operation. And I came here to study at a university. I'm on my second course right now. I'm from a small town called Tallahassee. It's the capital of Florida, and it's quite different from living in Moscow. I like that in Moscow I can travel wherever I want, whenever I want, without a car. I do have a driver's license or a learner's permit, but it's more convenient to use the metro here. Plus, I love that there's lots of museums here, so I can look at the history of different cultures and arts. And I recently went to an architecture museum, which was interesting. But walking around the city of Moscow is basically walking through an architecture museum because there's so many different styles from so many different time periods.
You've been, by the way, if you love arts, have you been to St. Petersburg?
I have been to St. Petersburg, I think 3 or 4 times. And it's a really beautiful city, I love it. But I think I prefer Moscow. The transport is better here. Yes, I'm a Muscovite. But the arts in the Hermitage and the Hermitage building is absolutely gorgeous. So I definitely recommend going to St. Petersburg.
So you're living in Moscow, you're a true Muscovite basically, and I believe you since we had a chat and you speak about the city so casually that even though it's few years, but feel like a true Muscovite. Is this a scary place for you as an American woman?
I would say it's not very scary. In every city, there's going to be certain areas where you should stay away from, especially at nighttime, but I feel safer here than I did in the US. There's way less homeless people around, and since there's always a large amount of people around, I feel comfortable walking around by myself, and in the off chance something happens, I can yell or scream and someone will come and help. People are very helpful here and just ready to help. There have been a few occasions where people have come up to me and I felt uncomfortable, but overall I feel safe and taken care of. Plus there's a lot of police officers around in the metro or just walking around the city, so I would feel comfortable walking up to them and asking for help.
A lot of stereotypes about Russia, and in just one of the many, is that this place is a dirty place. Russia is dirty, everything is broken. So how you respond to that, who still thinks and probably have no other way to find out except maybe listen to you or watch my videos or your videos? Many say Moscow is a whole different world. Maybe speak about not only about Moscow as well.
I think Moscow is as clean as a city can get. Obviously, it's not going to be as clean as someone's house, but just looking at the metro system, it's way cleaner than if you compared it to New York. And I've also been to St. Petersburg. It's also quite clean. I think maybe the stereotype that Russia is a dirty place might be because when it snows, it does look quite dirty. right? Because we see this dirt mixed with snow, but being here in the summertime, it's very clean. There's not trash on the ground like ever, and there's constantly people going around and cleaning up the city.
What about elsewhere?
So I feel like I have not been to many places other than Moscow and St. Petersburg. I've been to Suzdal, and that was also quite clean. It was a smaller town. There were a lot of wooden buildings, so just to give an idea of how old it is, and it was quite clean. And I've been to Karelia, and the nature there is very beautiful, and it's also quite clean. Growing up in Tallahassee, we used to go on different trips where we'd go around the lake and pick up trash and clean up. Here, there's not really trash that needs to be picked up. It's always clean.
How would you compare this country to maybe your country, where you're from?
I think that the people here and how they act when you first meet them. I think that culturally in America, it's more accepted to be very polite up front and to have a lot of small talk and conversations. In Russia, I think that there's a stereotype that people are very serious and cold because when you first meet someone, they can be kind of standoffish until they get to know you, and then they'll be very attentive and be willing to have deep conversations. In America, I think that people are very nice up front, and you can also have deep conversations with them and get close to them, but it's difficult to know for sure who's talking to you out of politeness and who's talking to you because they genuinely want to, which is not necessarily a bad thing, it's just a different culture. I also noticed that people here value family and marriage more. There's a high divorce rate everywhere now, but I think there's still more traditional values here, and oftentimes people grow up later. And what I mean by that is maybe in the US, people act more adult sooner because their parents give them more freedom, but here kids start to grow up after they're 18, and even then their parents really take care of them, and there's less pressure for them to move out immediately, which again is not saying that one is better than the other, it's just a different standard of how to raise someone. I see the pluses and minuses of both ways.
What about like economical life, how people get along?
Well, here the people make less money, but we also pay less money for certain items. I don't really know that much about economics, but I do know that.
What about you?
But transport.
What
for
about
me?
you? Yeah. How do you get along here living? You're not a tourist. You're local. You live here, real life.
Yes. I have this card, and most students have this card that they use in the metro. So the average person who's a tourist or just a normal person living here, they use this card called a troika, and you can put like maybe it's like 2,000 rubles on it for a whole month, where you can use the metro and the buses unlimited. But students or people that are part of families with more than 3 kids, they can get this pink card if you're a student, or if you're part of a family with more than 3 kids or a retired person, where I can put about 700 rubles on it for the whole month and be able to use the metro and buses unlimitedly. Unlimited.
My God. What the hell? This is normal.
I mean, it's not like I see it every day, but maybe every few months.
What about the general students? How do they get by then? Which is similar to your situation since you're a student living in Russia.
So students get by, well, they either have their parents helping them out financially, which luckily my parents help me out financially. I can live with them for free, they pay for food, and there are a lot of people that have jobs at cafes or stores. And since I'm studying to be a teacher of foreign languages, a lot of my classmates, they A lot of my classmates teach online as tutors, usually English or maybe Russian, and helping people get prepared for the EGE, which is a state exam that high schoolers have to take.
So, Aurora, what about, since you're studying to be a language teacher, right? So, after graduation, what's your future plans for life? Is it Russia? Is it elsewhere, or what?
So, my original plan was to move to Russia for about 5 to 10 years, and then maybe stay here, maybe go somewhere else. I don't want to set concrete plans for the future. But right now, my goal is to get a degree in linguistics, and with this degree, I can teach people languages, either Russian or English, maybe French if I do better in my French classes. And with that, I can teach people online, and I can work remotely, like anywhere in the world. But honestly, teaching is not my main goal in life. I chose teaching foreign languages because I want my kids to be able to speak foreign languages and be able to teach them properly. I'm a very religious person. I believe in God, and I really study my Bible, and I really want that to be my goal in life, to share God's word and His love so that people can come to Him and be saved. My plans for the future are to see how God can use me for His goals, and see if I can maybe get a job connected with that, or maybe be a volunteer at different mission works, which is where people go and share the word of God, or maybe be part of an organization called Hope Worldwide, which helps cities, especially when some sort of disaster happens. They send people that will go take care of people, maybe rebuild buildings or pass out food. For example, if a hurricane happened in Florida, Hope Worldwide would send people to pass out clothes, diapers, food, water, etc. My goal in life is just to share God's love and
teaching language as well on the side.
That's more so a plan B and a way that I need to make money. So yes, teaching.
Are you able
language.
to do that in Russia?
Teaching languages?
No, this plan A.
Plan A? I think so, yeah.
How is dating in Russia, and how is it any different compared to American? Because I started thinking about your age, which I don't know, but then I started.
Yes,
I'm not
it's
able
okay.
to ask about it.
I will say it. I'm 19. I'm going to be 20 in April, and I moved here when I was 17.
So she's not Russian enough, because as a Russian she would not say it. But how is the dating life then in Russia? Is it what can you reveal to us?
Okay, I don't go on many dates, I would say. Occasionally someone will ask me on a date, and if I want to go, I'll say yes. We'll usually go to a museum or a ballet, or
Whoa.
Just walking around the city, and we'll go out to eat
It
before
sounds
or
very
afterwards.
different.
Yeah.
ballet, museum. I don't know. It sounds like a very different life that I had before marrying, but.
I think that maybe people are used to going to a restaurant and hanging out there and talking, but here, if I'm going on a date, we usually go out to eat somewhere, and then we do some sort of activity, which is very nice. And I think that culturally in America, it would not be surprising if the female paid for herself, but here, I don't pay for myself. Someone always pays for me, which is very nice, and I'm very thankful. I still offer to be polite, but culturally, I think that it's more acceptable for the man to pay for things. Some may say that that's sexist, but I like it.
But you know, there's a jokes about that. About this man paying, which is totally normal and fine, but there are jokes about online that there's a man and a female on a date, then the check arrives to the table. It was like a sitcom or like a stand-up joke or something. And then the lady starts to search her purse and like that, and then the guy actually picks up the money, and she picks up
a lipstick or something. Yeah, I've seen it. I'm actually going to the ballet this Sunday.
On a date.
Well, he didn't say that it's a date, but he was like, hey, I know you like the ballet. We should go to the ballet this Sunday. And I was like, okay, sure. So it's
He's
going
a clever dude. He disguised it.
So it's going to be me, him, and 2 other people, another girl and a guy. I usually go on double dates because I feel more comfortable. I'm a very anxious person, and I'm very much for security and safety. So,
But do you mean, is it possibly unsafe though?
No,
Yeah?
I don't feel unsafe.
It's just
Just my preference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I'm friends with this guy.
Is there any expectations on how a guy should behave and a girl culturally? I mean?
Right. I noticed here that guys always open doors for females, and they oftentimes help them put on their coats or hold their bags for them. And I remember the first time or the second time I was here in Russia, someone made a joke, and they're like, Aurora always tries to open the door for herself, so we have to race her to get to the door first. And it became like an ongoing joke that who could get to the door first, me or some dude.
Yeah.
So culturally, it's strange when a female is doing a lot of things that, yes, she could do on her own, but others, it's more culturally acceptable for the man to do it for her.
Your dad is a YouTuber, expat American.
Yes.
So how is life to be sort of living
In the public eye?
in the public eye as a public family?
Well, because he's my dad, at first I was like, what? My dad's gonna start a YouTube channel? That's strange. But now it's something very interesting. We always have these memories that are recorded on video that we can look back on, and this gives us an excuse to try new things and to go on more trips. Yes, for the sake of the video, but also it gives us a good opportunity to become closer as a family and to do things together. I have noticed that I have to make sure I look presentable more often, like do my hair nice, wear makeup, because I want to look good on camera. He could start recording at any time, so sometimes it is a little bit inconvenient, but I'm used to it, and I see it as a good thing and something new to try.
Have you got any contact? Do people like Russian viewers, especially because they live here, unlike the Westerners? In Russia, is there any like attempts to reach you and like, hey, hello from there and that?
Yes, so people comment on my dad's channel, and I'll respond to them occasionally, but that's on YouTube. And sometimes they'll go to my channel and comment something. And because my Instagram is linked to my YouTube channel, sometimes people will message me through Instagram. And my Telegram is linked to my Instagram, so they could also message me through Telegram. And I have gotten a few messages, but they're very respectful, very kind, and I respond. But I don't meet up with people through the internet, again, because I'm a very careful person. Occasionally someone says something not too nice, but usually people are very respectful. And a lot of people ask me if I'm dating someone, or ask me how I know Russian. And I'm also very encouraged a lot of the times, because people will just message me and tell me, wow, you speak Russian so well, you don't have an accent, which I know is not true. I do have an accent, but it's very encouraging that people say something nice.
Guys, this was, by the way, do you want to shout out your YouTube channel, or do you want to promote it?
Sure. It's aurorab.rose, I think. But you can link it in the description.
Yes, and also in the video probably. Boom, like this now.
I'm more active on my Instagram, which is the same handle name.
So guys, this was Aurora, an American woman living in Moscow City. Moscow and Moscow City is different. That's you can afford right now to live in a Moscow City, but maybe in the future. Maybe. So that's the most expensive district that I've filmed for you guys on the channel. Guys, straight from Moscow, thank you so much for talking to me, talking to us, and sharing details about your life. That's really interesting, and especially from American perspective, because you actually what I found interesting, that you live like normal life here. You study, you this and that, but then again, you're actually like American as we can hear. But when you speak Russian, you are very Russian indeed. That's what I think. So thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you.
Guys, please subscribe to the channel, push likes and share to this family and friends. And I see you again in the next another video. If you want to see more of the Rose family, by the way, I had a video with Expat American, which is probably already released. And check it out. And also check Expat American's video where I visit him. And we go to a pub. You didn't know that.
Wow.
But he didn't drink. All right. See you guys. Bye from Moscow. Take care.
Bye.